Hello students. In this lecture just we are going to see a new topic, that is heavy water. Okay, so it is simply nothing but heavy water means it, where what we call it as a heavy water is that simply whatever that weight of the water. Okay, it is like a water, but here this D2O weight is more than that of the water. Okay, so that is the reason we call it as a heavy water. Okay, generally you know that what is the molecular weight of the water, it is a 18 gram per mole. Okay, but come to the heavy water, it is 20 grams per mole, because for hydrogen the molecular weight, the molar mass is 1, but come to the deuterium, the molar mass is 2. Okay, so for each deuterium it is 2, and 2 deuteriums it is 4, and oxygen 16. So overall it is 20. Okay, the molar mass of the D2O is 20 grams per mole. Okay, for the H2O, so for H2O, what is the molar mass? The molar mass is equal, for one hydrogen it is 1 into 2 plus 16, so that it is 18 gram per mole. Okay, but come to the D2O, it is also a water, but why they call it as a heavy water is that the mass of this D2O is higher. Okay, so one deuterium mass, that is molar mass, is equal to 2 gram per mole. Okay, so overall 2 into 2 plus 16, so that it is a 20 grams per mole. Okay, so that is the reason it is little bit heavier. Okay, it has a more mass, right? So that is the reason they call it as a heavy water. Okay, so where they can prepare is that the preparation, it can be prepared by exhaustive electrolysis of water. Okay, you know that electrolysis of water by using two electrode, one is a cathode, one is a anode, right? Okay, by supplying the power, they can split the water, right? Okay, and there they prepare this heavy water with the exhaustive electrolysis. That means with the heavy. Okay, that means they electrolyze for the more time. Okay, the more intensity, right? In the electrolysis prepared by the exhaustive electrolysis of water, or as a byproduct in some fertilizer industries. Okay, in some of the fertilizers industries, the D2O is also a byproduct. Okay, so what are the fertilizers that we don't require? Right, now come to the uses. What are the uses of the D2O? Right, generally this D2O has a very good use, that is in the nuclear reactions. So in the nuclear reactions, they extensively use it as a moderator means, you know that the nuclear reactions, right? Okay, those reactions are very fast, very fast, right? So that is the reason why, to decrease that uh, speed of the nuclear reactions. Okay, so they will use this D2O as a moderator means it can little bit decreases the speed of the reaction, that is the rate of reactions. Okay, and not only in the nuclear reactions, in sorry, and in exchange reactions, for the study of reaction mechanisms. Okay, so what is those reactions not necessary here. Okay, but only thing is that you have to remember where they can use is that extensively they use it as a moderator in the nuclear reactions, as well as in the study of the reaction mechanisms. Okay, and next, one more use, it is also used for the preparation of other deuterium compounds. Okay, so what are the other deuterium compounds is that very simple. From the calcium carbide, where it is hydrolyzed with the D2O, they can prepare the 1,2 dideuteroethane. Okay, you know the acetylene, right? What is the acetylene or ethane? C triple bond C H. Okay, so simply you call it as a ethine. Okay, sorry, ethine. And when you remove these two hydrogens and write the deuteriums, you call it as a 1,2 dideuteroethane. Okay, 1 comma 2 dideoteroethyl, right? And one more thing is that they can also prepare the deuterosulfuric acid by the hydrolysis of sulfur trioxide with the D2. With the D2O, they can prepare the deuterosulfuric acid. And not only that, they can also prepare the deuteromethane. You know the methane, but here it is going to prepare the deuteromethane by the hydrolysis of the aluminum carbide, Al4C3, on hydrolysis with the 12 moles of D2O heavy water. You can prepare the 3 moles of deuteromethane. Okay. And this is all about the heavy water. And next we can see the hydrogen as a fuel. Okay. The next topic is that hydrogen as a fuel. Okay. So just it is a good thing to explain in the textbook rather than in my notes. Okay, don't worry. So what is that? The hydrogen as a fuel. You know that what is the fuel we are using in our cars as well as the motor vehicles, is that generally we will use the either petrol or diesel. Okay, so what are that petrol and diesel? Those are the hydrocarbons. Okay, those are the hydrocarbons. And why we are using that hydrocarbons as a fuel is that very simple. When you burn that fuel, it releases the energy, okay, heat energy, and that heat energy the engine will convert into the mechanical energy. Okay, and with that the whatever that vehicle, either car or motor vehicle, they can run. Okay, so that is the reason, right? And what you require for that, you require some heat energy, okay. And only that petrol and diesel only can they provide the heat energy? No, right? Other hydrocarbons also can produce the heat energy, right? Okay, so what are those? You can take kerosene, right? Instead of the, some people they'll use the kerosene as a fuel, right? Okay, but the energy released by the kerosene per 1 mole it is less. Okay, so that the efficiency with the kerosene is not that good, right? Okay, and anything other, right? Nowadays autos and even the cars also, they are running with the CNG gas, compressed natural gas, CNG gas. Okay, what is that? Even earlier cars used to run with the LPG cylinders, liquid petroleum gas. Okay, that means whatever that cylinders we use it for the cooking, right? And with that also they use it to run, right? Okay, why? Because that is also a hydrocarbon. Okay, and those can produce the more amount of heat. Those can produce the more amount of the heat. Okay, that is the reason why they replace it with the petrol as well as with the diesels. Okay, but in the similar way the hydrogen can also releases the huge amount of energy when it is burns with the in presence of the oxygen, okay. So it releases huge amount of energy. Okay, it releases minus negative. Okay, so how much it is that for 1 mole it releases around 286 kilojoules per mole. Kilojoules per mole. Okay, so what is the mass of the hydrogen of 1 mole? It is around 2 grams. Okay, 2 grams of hydrogen when you burn, you will get that the energy. How much energy? 286 kilojoules energy it can releases. Okay, right. And again when you compare with the petrol, that is the octane. What is that? Octane gas is nothing but a petrol, and for this you can get, when you burn this one, you can get a delta H of 5511 kilojoules minus. Okay, but it looks this value is bigger than this. Okay, but what is the amount here? It is only 2 grams, but here the octane, what is that? C8H16. What is the mass? So 8 into 12 and 16, right? Okay, what is that? So here it is a 80, 96 plus 16, 96 plus 16, 12 and 112 grams. Okay, when you burn the 112 grams of octane, you can get the 5511 kilojoules, sorry, not kg, kilojoules of energy. Okay, but here how much? Here you are burning only 2 grams of hydrogen. With that you are getting the 286. That means in this 5511 divided by 3, around you assume that 5500 divided by 3 you assume. So 1s and 12, 4 and okay, let it, we don't go with this. Just look at here. Just for 112 grams of octane, here it is producing 5511 kilojoules. But with the only 2 grams of hydrogen releasing around 286 kilojoules of energy. Okay, so that means here it is 60 times higher. Here it is 60 times higher, right? Okay, so when you multiply with the 300 into 60, you can get the 3000 into 6, that is around 18,000. Okay, so that means with the same amount of 112 grams, when you use the hydrogen, you can produce around 18,000 kilojoules of energy. 18,000 kilojoules of energy. That means why I am telling all these things is that compared to the octane, that means petrol, when you use the hydrogen as a fuel, you can get the more amount of heat energy. With the less amount of hydrogen, you can produce the more amount of the heat energy. Okay, and not only that, the other thing is that the pollutants. What are the other thing? The pollutants. Okay, when you burn the octane, okay, that means C18H16, what you will get in presence of oxygen? You will get the carbon dioxide as well as the water, right? Okay, so this carbon dioxide again a pollutant. But when you burn the hydrogen in presence of the oxygen, what you will get? You will get only the water. That's it. Okay, so that means it is a pollutant free fuel. Okay, that means with this you can drastically decrease the pollution, right? Okay, so that is the reason why people thought to use this hydrogen as a fuel, but what happened, it has certain limits. Okay, so what are the limits? Now we can see, right? So here is the same thing whatever that I discussed. The data on energy released by combustion of fuels like dihydrogen, methane, LPG are compared in terms of the same amounts in the moles. Okay, that is in the table 8.5. Here it is, the table is there. Okay, and what they observed is that from this table it is clear that on a mass for mass basis, hydrogen can release more energy than the petrol. Okay, that already told you, right? And about 3 times. And moreover, pollutants in combustion of hydrogen will be less than the petrol. Okay, that is also I told you. The only pollutants will be the oxides of dinitrogen. So when the dinitrogen comes, due to the presence of nitrogen as an impurity with the hydrogen. Okay, so that means if any impurities are present in the hydrogen, then those nitrogens will convert into the nitrogen oxides. If it is a pollutant, if it is a what is that? No, if it has a no impurities, then obviously there is no formation of the nitrogen oxide. And not only that, even of course that nitrogen oxides can be minimized by injecting a small amount of water into the cylinder to lower the temperature, so that the reaction between nitrogen and oxygen may not be takes place. Okay, there are possibilities to avoid the nitrogen oxides formation even in the burning also. Okay, but the problem is that the biggest problem is that the transportation of hydrogen. Okay, how that fuel can transport, the petrol can transport by using some tankers, right? Okay, because it is in the liquid form, so that you can easily transport. But what about the hydrogen? The hydrogen is a gas, and to transport the gas, what you require, you need a very big containers to transport the same amount of the mass. Okay, suppose you want to carry some 1000 kg of petrol. Okay, so if the tanker needed will be lesser than the same amount of 1000 kg of dihydrogen transport. Okay, because the dihydrogen is a gas, right? Okay, so it requires very huge tanks. Okay, but the other possibility is that you know that the gases can be liquefied. Gases అనేది liquefy అవుతాయి, అవునా కదా? But here the problem is that even the hydrogen gas converted into a liquid state by cooling to 20 kelvins. 20 kelvins means at around minus 250 degrees centigrade. So creating that much of low temperature, again it is a very difficult task. Okay, so that is the reason why the drawback is that the transportation, and not only the transportation, it is again the storage. Both the things, storage as well as the transportation, is a very big headache for the hydrogen as a fuel. Okay, and not only that, the hydrogen, when it expands, generally it catches the fire more rapidly, and that is the reason why they require expensive insulated tanks like sodium Ni5 nickel, titanium and titanium H2, magnesium. Of course, these you don't require. This is not that important. Only the thing is that even though the hydrogen is a very good fuel, but the transportation and storage is become very tough. Okay, and this is the thing you have to be remember. Okay, but later that the scientists are trying to solve those problems. Okay, even now also it is going on. Okay, so let us see, now we can see few uses also. That so the scientists generally, initially 5% of hydrogen has been mixed in the CNG for use in a four-wheelers vehicles. Okay, and the percentage of dihydrogen would be gradually increased to reach the optimum level. Still the scientists are trying to increase that percentage of dihydrogen. Okay, and nowadays it is also used in fuel cells for generation of electric power. Okay, how that electric power can generate? By, you know, that thermal power. They'll combust the coal, right? They'll combust the coal, and when you burn the coal, it releases the heat energy. That heat energy they will again convert into a mechanical energy. That mechanical energy again convert into the electrical energy. Okay, and the basic thing is that it requires some heat energy. Okay, so instead of the coal, you can use the hydrogen as a fuel, right? Okay, that is the reason. So they are using as a fuel in the generation of the electric power. Okay, and it is expected that economically viable and safe sources of dihydrogen will be identified in the years to come. Of course, people are trying to solve the problems whatever that we have discussed right now. Okay, so this is all about the hydrogen as a fuel. Okay, and with this the chapter is over. With this, the hydrogen and compound chapter is over. Okay.